Hello students, do you remember some of the other events we spoke about in the last few weeks involving the colonists and King George? Yes? That's right, very good. There was the Boston Massacre. Very good. What else? You can popcorn them out. Okay, so you have the Stamp Act, yep, the Quartering Act. Good. Can we remember what the colonists were thinking and feeling around the time of these events? I just want you to take a minute to turn to your partner and share so you can remind each other what the colonists were feeling. Go ahead. Okay, time. Number 3s, please stand up and share what you and your partner talked about. Okay, so what I'm hearing from all of you is that pretty much they were very angry at the king and the soldiers and England. Well, today I'm going to read a book called Colonial Voices, Hear Them Speak. In this story, you'll hear the viewpoints of lots of different types of colonists about the events leading up to the Boston Tea Party. What do you think could be the different possibilities of characters we could hear from in the story? Right, yes, we had the farmers. Who else did we have? Do you remember when we've been talking about the colonists? Yes, we had all of the religious people. Fantastic. Well, let's have a look at the cover. What do we see? Have a look. What do we think that the little boy might be carrying? Can you see everybody? Well, I think the little boy I predict that he's some kind of a newspaper boy. As I read through the book, I want you to focus on how each of the characters talk about how they are affected by these important events that led up to the Boston Tea Party. So let's look at the board. Do we see that there are pretty much two sides that are growing further and further apart around this time? There's the loyalists, and who are loyal to the king. So we see there's the king. And we can call the loyalists L. And there are, who else? Who are these guys? Exactly. They're the patriots who are the colonists who want independence from the king. So I want you to think about, as I'm reading through these, what each of the characters are actually thinking and feeling towards either the loyalists or the patriots, and whether they are loyalists and patriots. Now, what I will do right now is, before I actually begin the read aloud, I'd like you to pass these out at your tables. All of you group leaders, come and grab these, please. And what I want to show you is that as I read the stories from each of the characters, I'd like you to consider and take notes about whether you might think they're loyalists, or whether they're patriots, or whether they're neutral. And I want you to be able to tell me, how do you know? How do you know whether they're loyalists or patriots? And so you can refer to the evidence from the text. So as I'm reading, I'd like you to refer to that evidence. Now, just so that you can be reminded, apart from the fact that on your graphic journals, on your graphic organizers, you actually have loyalists as L, so you know that they're loyal to the king, and you've got the patriot there holding the flag. You know that the colonists that want independence for America. I'll also keep that up on the board so you can just keep referring to that. Now, as you're taking notes as I'm reading, boys and girls, I want you to consider remembering how we talked about how we need you to respond to textual evidence, to use full sentences. And so what I've done is I've created some sentence starters up there for you that include sentences that begin with the words, I agree with because, and you also have I disagree with because, and there are also other sentence starters that say I was confused when, because some of you might be confused about why some people are loyalists and why some people are patriots. Okay, so that takes us to our objective from our TEAC 5.2a. Our objective today, before I begin to read the book, let's read together. I will understand how the events leading up to the American Revolution affected the American colonists. That's what we'll be doing today. Okay, so let's read together. So already we've inferred that the little boy might be a newspaper boy, right? What else do we see? It looks like a pretty cold evening there. So we know that it's colonial voices. So where might they be? New England. We see the boats. They're very good. Excellent. So let's read our very first character talk. I think we're going to start with the errand boy. So let me read the errand boy. Today is December the 16th, 1773. Boston is about to explode. I'm Ethan, paper boy for the printer, messenger, wood chopper, runner of errands. My mother died when I was born. My father drowned at sea. Now I sleep above the print shop, live by my wits. No one times my comings and goings. Errand boys, like servants, are almost invisible. It's a good cloak to wear. I keep my eyes and ears alert, and trouble's brewing. The Dartmouth, the Eleanor, the Beaver, crammed with tea. Wait at Griffin's Wharf. Will King George and Parliament have their way? Will their custom men collect the tax? Will the tea company say who sells the tea? Let them try. The Sons of Liberty are counting on me. Off I go to slip in and out of shops and houses, share the notice about the final meeting of Old South, pass the secret to the patriots, and listen to the tittle-tattle from the loyalists. Midnight is the deadline when the tea must go or be taxed. What will happen now? Okay, so boys and girls, I just want to show you how to fill in this graphic organizer. And so you don't have to write the full words loyalist or patriot. If you think the errand boy was a loyalist, you can write L in there. If you think he was a patriot, you would write P. Now, this is what I'm thinking is when I'm listening to this little boy speak, I hear him clearly say that he is keeping his eyes and ears alert, that trouble's brewing. He talks about King George and Parliament not having their way. So I'm thinking that he's inferring that he is a patriot. And so when I fill in my graphic organizer today, and if I looked at the errand boy, I would write P for patriot. And for referring to textual evidence, I would say, I noticed that, I can use that right there, that's a great sentence starter. I noticed that the errand boy said some awful things about the king. So I believe he's a patriot. So right there, you can use L or P, and you can use a sentence starter to describe what you heard from the text and why you believe he's a loyalist or a patriot. So boys and girls, now that I've modeled to you how I'd like you to fill out your graphic organizer, I want you to remember that today our objective is to understand how the events leading up to the American Revolution affected the American colonists. And so as we're reading, I want you to remember that we're thinking, how are these people responding? How are they acting? How are they saying that they're feeling towards all of the events that are happening? Make your decision about loyalist or patriot, and then use your sentence starters. Okay, boys and girls, we're going to our next character. The baker. Are we ready? The baker